Here's a fun fact. The average American spends more money on their car than they do on food. Not just a little more, significantly more. And most people think this is completely normal. It's not normal. It's insane. But we've been conditioned to accept it because cars are expensive, loans are easy to get, and everyone around us is making the same mistake. Let me ask you a question. How much car can you actually afford? Not how much will the bank lend you. They'll lend you way more than you should borrow. Not how much is the monthly payment you can technically make. You can technically survive on ramen and hope, but that's not a life plan. I mean, how much should you actually spend on a car if you want to build wealth, retire someday, and not be stressed about money every month? The answer is probably way less than you think, and definitely way less than the car salesman will tell you. There's a rule in personal finance called the 10% rule. It says you should spend no more than 10% of your gross annual income on a car. Not 10% per month, 10% total for the entire purchase price. If you make $50,000 a year, the 10% rule says you can afford a $5,000 car, not a $30,000 car with a $500 monthly payment. A $5,000 car, probably used, probably boring, definitely not what you were thinking. And before you close this video thinking, that's ridiculous, nobody follows that rule, you're right, most people don't. That's why most people are broke, stressed about money, and driving cars they can't actually afford while wondering why they can't save for retirement. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how much car you can really afford, why the 10% rule exists, why car salespeople and banks want you to ignore it, and what happens when you do. We'll talk about the real cost of car ownership, the psychology of why we overspend on cars, and how to actually apply this rule in the real world. We'll also talk about exceptions, because yes, there are situations where spending more makes sense, and how to know if you're one of them, or if you're just rationalizing a bad decision. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that $40,000 SUV is probably destroying your financial future, why your neighbors who drive new cars might be drowning in debt, and why driving a boring, practical car for a few years could be the best financial decision you ever make. Fair warning, this is going to make you uncomfortable if you recently bought or are currently shopping for an expensive car. Good, you should be uncomfortable. Your future self will thank you for watching this. Let's talk about how much car you can actually afford. Section 1. The real cost of car ownership. Chapter 1. Why the sticker price is a lie. When you walk into a dealership and see a car with a $30,000 price tag, that's not what it actually costs you. That number is a lie, or more precisely, it's about 40% of the truth. The real cost of owning that car is somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 over the time you own it. And nobody tells you this up front, because if they did, you'd run screaming from the dealership. Let's break down what car ownership actually costs, because this is where most people's math goes catastrophically wrong. The purchase price, $30,000. Okay, this one you know about, but here's what you probably didn't factor in. Sales tax. Depending on your state, that's another $1,500 to $3,000. In some states, you're paying 10% sales tax on vehicles. That $30,000 car just became $33,000 before you even drive it off the lot. Dealer fees, $500 to $1,500 for documentation fees, dealer preparation, and other creative ways to extract money from you. These are mostly bullshit, but good luck negotiating them away. Registration and title, $100 to $500 depending on your state. Some states charge based on vehicle value, so expensive cars cost more to register every year. Total initial cost, $32,000 to $35,000 before you've driven a single mile. But wait, there's more. Insurance. This is the big one everyone underestimates. For a $30,000 car financed with a loan, you're looking at full coverage required by your lender, $1,200 to $2,400 per year depending on age, location, driving record. Over 6 years of ownership, $7,200 to $14,400. Young drivers or people with tickets could be $3,000 plus per year, so $18,000 plus total maintenance. Cars need regular maintenance, oil changes, tire rotations, brake pads, batteries, and the random stuff that breaks. Basic maintenance, $800 to $1,200 per year. Major repairs, transmission, engine work, AC, etc. $1,000 to $3,000 every few years, over 6 years, $6,000 to $12,000 minimum tires. Nobody remembers tires, but you'll need at least one new set, maybe two. Decent tires, $600 to $1,000 per set. Over ownership, $1,000 to $2,000 fuel. You're putting gas in this thing regularly. Average driver, 12,000 miles per year. Average fuel economy, 25. MPG gas at $3.50 per gallon, $1,680 per year, over 6 years, $10,080. Depreciation, this is the silent killer. That $30,000 car loses value every year you own it. Year 1, loses 20 to 30%, $6,000 to $9,000. Years 2 to 6, loses another 40 to 50% of remaining value after 6 years, worth maybe $10,000 to $12,000. Total depreciation, $18,000 to $20,000. Interest if financed. Most people don't buy cars cash, so let's add loan interest. $30,000 loan at 6% for 6 years. Total interest paid, $5,800. At 8%, common for longer loans or lower credit, $7,800. At 10%, subprime, $10,000 plus. Let's add it all up. Purchase plus tax/fees, $33,000 insurance, 6 years, $10,000 maintenance, $9,000 tires, $1,500 fuel, $10,000 interest, $6,000 total, $69,500. That $30,000 car actually costs you nearly $70,000 over 6 years of ownership, and you'll sell it for maybe $10,000 to $12,000 at the end, so your net cost is still around $58,000 to $60,000. The monthly breakdown, $69,500 total cost divided by 72 months equals $965 per month. You thought you were getting a $450 per month payment, just the loan, but the real cost is over $900 per month when you include everything. This is why the sticker price is a lie. The car costs twice what you think it costs, and the monthly expense is double what the payment calculator shows you. Chapter 2. The Psychology of I Can Afford the Payment. Here's how car salespeople are trained to sell you. They never talk about the price of the car. They talk about the monthly payment. What payment are you comfortable with? We can get you into this for just $400 a month. For only $50 more per month, you can upgrade to the premium trim. This is psychological warfare, and they're very good at it. The payment trap works like this. Step 1. They figure out how much you can pay monthly. Let's say you tell them $400 per month. Step 2. They structure the loan to hit that number. They don't lower the price, they extend the loan term. We can do $400 per month. It's just a 72-month loan, instead of 60 months. You focused on the monthly payment and ignored that you're now paying for 6 years instead of 5. That's 12 extra payments, which is an extra $4,800 plus more interest. Step 3. They add extras. For just $20 more per month, you can add the extended warranty. $20 per month over 72 months is $1,440 for a warranty that probably won't pay out and you'll never use. Step 4. They get you to focus on payment, not total cost. You leave thinking, I got a great deal, only $400 per month, while actually paying $50,000 for a car that should cost $30,000. The psychological tricks at play, mental accounting. You think in monthly buckets, not total costs. $400 per month sounds manageable. $50,000 total sounds terrifying. They exploit this. Anchoring. They show you a $50,000 car first. Then the $40,000 car seems like a deal. Or they quote a $600 payment, then work hard to get it down to $500, and you feel like you won. You didn't win, you still overpaid. Complexity. The finance manager shows you a dozen papers with numbers and percentages and terms. You're overwhelmed and confused, so you just sign. This is intentional. Sunk cost fallacy. You've spent 3 hours at the dealership. You've test-driven cars. You've fallen in love with the leather seats. Walking away now feels like wasting all that time, so you convince yourself to buy even if the numbers aren't good. Social proof. Everyone is buying the F-150. It's our most popular model. Translation. Everyone is making the same mistake, so you should too. The reality check. Just because you can afford the monthly payment doesn't mean you can afford the car. You can technically afford a $500 per month payment by eating ramen and not saving for retirement. That doesn't mean it's smart. The question isn't, can I make this payment? The question is, can I make this payment and save for retirement and build an emergency fund and not be stressed about money and still have a life? For most people, buying new cars, the answer is no. Chapter 3. What the banks won't tell you. Banks love to lend you money for cars. They're enthusiastic about it. They'll approve you for way more than you should borrow. Why? Because auto loans are profitable and relatively safe for them. If you default, they repossess the car and sell it. They're not too worried about losing money. But just because they'll lend it to you doesn't mean you should borrow it. The approval amount scam. You apply for an auto loan. The bank says you're approved for up to $40,000. You make $50,000 a year. The bank just told you that you can borrow almost an entire year's salary for a car. Does that sound reasonable? It shouldn't, because it's not. How banks calculate approval amounts. They look at your debt-to-income ratio, DTI. Most lenders will approve auto loans if your total monthly debt payments, including the new car payment, are less than 40 to 50% of your gross monthly income. Here's the math. You make $50,000 per year equals $4,167 per month. Gross bank allows up to 45% DT, equals $1,875 per month in total debt payments. You have $800 per month in other debts, student loans, credit cards. Bank will approve a car payment up to $1,075 per month. At 6% for 72 months, that's a $40,000 plus loan. The bank just approved you for a car payment that's 26% of your gross income. For reference, financial advisors recommend spending no more than 10 to 15% of gross income on all transportation costs combined. The bank isn't looking out for you, they're looking at risk. As long as you'll probably be able to make payments and they can repossess the car if you don't, they're happy to lend. The debt spiral. Here's what happens when you borrow the maximum the bank approves. Month 1, you make the $1,000 payment. It's tight, but you manage. Month 6, unexpected expense. Car repair, ironic, but it happens. Medical bill, whatever. You can't cover it because all your money goes to the car payment. You put it on a credit card. Month 12, credit card debt is growing. You're paying minimums because you can't afford more. The car payment hasn't changed, but now you have more debt. Month 24, you're behind on credit cards. Your credit score drops. When you need to refinance or get another loan, rates are higher. Month 36, you're underwater on the car loan. You owe more than the car's worth. You can't sell or trade it in without paying the difference. You're stuck. Month 48, major car repair needed. You can't afford it because you've been broke since month 6, but you still owe $15,000 on the loan, so you finance the repair on a credit card. Month 60, you've paid $60,000 plus for a car now worth $15,000. You still owe $8,000 on the loan. You haven't saved for retirement. You have credit card debt. You're stressed constantly. This is not a hypothetical. This is the reality for millions of Americans who borrowed the maximum the bank approved. What banks won't tell you, they don't care if you save for retirement. The loan approval doesn't factor in whether you're contributing to a 401k or IRA. They just care if you can make payments. They don't care about your other financial goals. Want to buy a house? Start a business? Take a vacation? The bank doesn't ask about these when approving your car loan. They make more money when you borrow more. Higher loan amount equals more interest paid, equals more profit for them. They're incentivized to lend you the maximum, not the optimal amount. They're betting you won't default, but they don't care if you're broke. As long as you make payments, even if you're miserable and have no savings, they're happy. The takeaway. The amount the bank approves you for is the maximum they think they can extract from you while still getting repaid. It's not financial advice. It's not in your best interest. It's the ceiling, not a recommendation. Chapter 4. The 10% Rule. Explained all right? Enough talking about what not to do. Let's talk about what you should do. The 10% rule is simple. Spend no more than 10% of your gross annual income on the purchase price of a car. Not 10% per month, not 10% of your take-home pay, 10% of your gross annual income total for the entire car. The math. If you make $30,000 per year, max car budget is $3,000. If you make $40,000 per year, max car budget is $4,000. If you make $50,000 per year, max car budget is $5,000. If you make $60,000 per year, max car budget is $6,000. If you make $80,000 per year, max car budget is $8,000. If you make $100,000 per year, max car budget is $10,000. Your reaction right now is probably, "That's ridiculous. You can't get a decent car for that." Let's address this. First, yes you can. You can absolutely get a reliable, functional car in these price ranges. It won't be new, it won't be sexy, it won't have massage seats or a panoramic sunroof, but it will get you from A to B safely, which is literally the only thing a car needs to do. Second, the rule is about what you can afford while building wealth. If your goal is just to drive a nice car and you're okay being broke forever, ignore this rule. But if you want to retire someday, own a home, or have financial security, this is the guideline. Third, this is a maximum, not a target. Just because you can spend $5,000 doesn't mean you should. If you can get a reliable car for $3,000, that's even better. Why 10%? This number isn't arbitrary. It's based on the percentage of income that can go to transportation while still allowing you to save 15 to 20% for retirement, save for emergencies, pay down debt, cover housing, food, and other essentials. Have some quality of life. When you map out a healthy budget, transportation, car payment, insurance, fuel, maintenance should be 10 to 15% of gross income total. If you spend 10% on the car purchase and finance it, your monthly transportation costs will be roughly 15% of gross income, which is sustainable. If you spend more than 10% on purchase price, your total transportation costs balloon to 20 to 30% of income, which crowds out savings and other financial goals. The formula in action. Let's say you make $50,000 per year. The 10% rule says max $5,000 car. If you buy a $5,000 car in cash, no loan, no monthly payment insurance, approximately $800 per year, cheaper because it's older. Maintenance, approximately $1,000 per year, higher because it's older. Fuel, approximately $1,500 per year. Total annual cost, $3,300 per year, or $275 per month. That's 6.6% of your gross income on transportation, totally manageable. If you instead buy a $30,000 car, monthly payment $500 per month, insurance $1,500 per year, maintenance $800 per year, fuel $1,500 per year, total annual cost $9,800 per year, or $817 per month. That's 19.6% of gross income on transportation. This crowds out everything else. The power of following the rule. If you follow the 10% rule and invest the money you save, here's what happens. You make $50,000 a year. Instead of buying a $30,000 car with a $500 payment, you buy a $5,000 car in cash. You invest the $500 per month you saved for 6 years at 8% average return. After 6 years, $46,000. After 10 years, $91,500. After 20 years, $294,500. After 30 years, $745,000. The difference between following the 10% rule and buying the car you can afford is literally $750,000 in retirement savings. You traded a nice car for retiring comfortably. Most people make the opposite trade and regret it. Chapter 5. Why everyone around you is doing it wrong. But everyone I know drives a nice car. Are they all wrong? Yes, they're all wrong, or more precisely, most of them are making the same mistake, and the few who aren't are either making way more money than you think, in massive debt, prioritizing cars over everything else. Let's talk about the illusion of affordability. The driveway lie. You look at your neighbor's driveway, 2 brand new cars, a $40,000 SUV and a $35,000 sedan. You think they must be doing well? If are $1,200 total. They have $3,000 in or $1,200 total. They have $3,000 in savings. They're not contributing to retirement. They fight about money constantly. They're one layoff away from losing everything. They can't actually afford those cars. They're just making payments and hoping nothing goes wrong. And statistically, something will go wrong. The income illusion. Some of your friends genuinely can't afford nice cars because they make great money, but you're probably overestimating their income. That friend with the loaded BMW, if they're following the 10% rule, they'd need to make $500,000 per year to justify a $50,000 car. Do they make $500,000? Probably not. More likely, they make $80,000 to $100,000 and are spending way more on the car than they should. The priority difference. Some people choose to prioritize cars over everything else. They drive a $50,000 truck but live in a tiny apartment, eat ramen, and have no retirement savings. Is this you? If your life goal is to drive a nice truck and you're okay sacrificing everything else, fine. But don't confuse I can make the payment with I can afford this without destroying my financial future. The keeping up game. Here's the trap. You buy a car you can't afford because your friends have nice cars. They bought cars they can't afford because their friends have nice cars. Everyone is overspending to keep up with everyone else overspending. It's a race to the bottom disguised as success. Meanwhile, the people who are actually building wealth, they're driving 10-year-old Camrys and Civics. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're building net worth while you're building debt. The retirement gap. The average American has $65,000 saved for retirement at age 55. That's not enough to retire on. You'll need $500,000 to $1 million plus depending on lifestyle. Why don't they have more saved? Because they spent it on cars, among other things. If you're 25 and you follow the 10% rule instead of buying expensive cars, you'll have an extra $500,000 to $700,000 by retirement. That's the difference between working until you die and actually retiring. Your neighbor with the new F-150, they probably won't be able to retire, and they'll never tell you that when you're admiring their truck. Section 2. The Practical Application. Chapter 6. How to actually apply the 10% rule. Okay, so you understand the 10% rule in theory. Now let's talk about how to actually use it in the real world, because theory is useless without execution. Step 1. Calculate your actual budget. Take your gross annual income, before taxes, the number on your offer letter or W-2, multiply by 0.10, 10%. That's your maximum car budget. Write it down. Examples: $35,000 per year income to $3,500 max car budget, $45,000 per year per income arrow. $4,500 max car budget, $55,000 per year. Income arrow, $5,500 max car budget, $70,000 per year. Income arrow, $7,000 max car budget, $90,000 per year. Income arrow, $9,000 max car budget. Step 2. Save that amount in cash. Do not finance a car if you're following this rule properly. Here's why. If you finance a $5,000 car at 8% for 4 years, monthly payment $122, total paid $5,856, you paid $856 in interest for a $5,000 car. Interest on cheap cars is expensive in percentage terms because the term is shorter and lenders charge higher rates on cheaper, older cars. Better strategy: save the $122 per month for 3.5 years, then buy the car in cash. You avoid $856 in interest, and you have no monthly payment afterward. But what if I need a car now? Then buy the cheapest, reliable car you can find with whatever cash you have, and upgrade later when you've saved more. A $2,000 car is better than a $5,000 car on credit if you can't pay cash. Step 3. Set realistic expectations. Your $5,000 budget means you're shopping for used cars, probably 10 to 15 years old, higher mileage, 100,000 to 150,000 miles, basic features, nothing fancy. Reliable brands known for longevity. You're looking for transportation, not status. The car gets you to work so you can make money. That's its job. Step 4. Research reliable models in your budget. Some cars are reliable at high mileage. Others are money pits. Know the difference. Generally reliable used cars, under $5,000. Honda Civic, 2006 to 2010. Toyota Corolla, 2005 to 2009, Honda Accord, 2004 to 2008, Toyota Camry, 2004 to 2008, Mazda 3, 2006 to 2010, Ford Focus, 2008 to 2011, manual transmission, Hyundai Elantra, 2007 to 2010, under $8,000, Honda Civic, 2010 to 2013, Toyota Corolla, 2009 to 2012, Mazda 3, 2010 to 2013, Honda Fit, 2009 to 2013, Toyota Matrix, 2009 to 2013, Subaru Impreza, 2008 to 2011, under $10,000, Honda Civic, 2012 to 2014, Toyota Corolla, 2011 to 2014, Mazda 3, 2012 to 2014, Honda Accord, 2010 to 2012, Toyota Camry, 2010 to 2012. Notice a pattern? Honda and Toyota dominate because they're reliable at high mileage. This is why they hold value and why you should buy them. Step 5. Inspect before buying. For any used car, you must get a pre-purchase inspection, PPI. Pay a mechanic $100 to $150 to inspect the car before you buy. This catches problems that cost thousands to fix. Check the vehicle history report, Carfax or AutoCheck. Look for accidents, title issues, service records. Test drive thoroughly, highway and city driving. Listen for weird noises. Check all features. Does everything work? Walk away if something's wrong. No car is worth buying if the PPI reveals serious issues. There will be another car. Step 6. Budget for immediate repairs. Even if the PPI is clean, budget $500 to $1,000 for immediate repairs and maintenance when buying a used car. You'll probably need new tires, $400 to $600, brake pads, $200 to $400, oil change and fluid check, $100 battery, if old, $100 to $150, random small. Stuff, $200 better to have the money set aside than be surprised. Step 7. Plan for ongoing costs. Remember, the purchase price is just the beginning. Budget monthly for insurance. Get quotes before buying. Older cars are cheaper to insure, but your age, location, and driving record matter more. Maintenance fund. Save $100 to $150 per month for maintenance and repairs. When something breaks, you have money ready instead of going into debt. Fuel. Calculate your commute distance and the car's fuel economy. Don't buy a V8 truck if you can't afford the gas. Emergency car fund. Keep $2,000 to $3,000 saved separately for major repairs, transmission, engine, etc. If you don't need it, great. If you do, you're covered. Chapter 7. But I need a reliable car. Argument. This is the most common objection to the 10% rule. I can't buy a cheap car because I need something reliable. Cheap cars break down. I'll spend more on repairs than I save. Let's address this. The reliability myth. People assume new cars are reliable and old cars constantly break down. This is partially true and mostly exaggerated. New cars do break down. They have recalls, manufacturing defects, and electrical issues. Modern cars are complicated, and complicated things break. Old cars do break down. But well-maintained old cars from reliable brands can run for 200,000 to 300,000 miles without major issues. The question isn't, will it break? Everything breaks eventually. The question is, will the total cost of ownership be less than a new car? The math comparison. Option A. New $30,000 car purchase plus tax/fees. $33,000 depreciation, 6 years. $18,000. Insurance, $10,000. Maintenance, $6,000. Fuel, $10,000. Interest, if financed, $6,000. Total 6-year cost, $65,000. Option B. Used $5,000 car purchase. Cash, $5,000. Depreciation, 6 years. $2,000, worth $3,000 after 6 years. Insurance, $5,000, cheaper for older car. Maintenance, $12,000, double the new. Car, fuel, $10,000. Total 6-year cost, $32,000. Even if you spend double on maintenance with the used car, you're still $33,000 ahead over 6 years. That's $458 per month in savings. What if the used car completely dies after 3 years? Fine, buy another $5,000 car. First car, $5,000, lasted 3 years. Second car, $5,000, lasts another 3 years. Total, $10,000 for 6 years of transportation. Still cheaper than the new car by a massive margin. The worst case scenario. Let's say you have the worst luck possible. You buy a $5,000 car and within the first year, you need new transmission, $2,500, new brakes, $400, new tires, $500, random repairs, $600, total unexpected costs, $4,000. You've now spent $9,000 total on a car that should last several more years. You're still better off than buying a new car. And this scenario is unlikely if you buy a reliable brand, get a PPI before purchasing, maintain it properly, the I can't afford for my car to break down. A scenario. Some people have jobs where car reliability is critical. Maybe you're a home health nurse visiting patients, or you're on call and need to get to work at odd hours. Fair point. But the solution isn't buying a new car. The solution is buy 2 cheap cars. Seriously. For $10,000 total, you can own 2 $5,000 cars. If one breaks down, you have a backup while it's being repaired. Join AAA or another roadside assistance program. $60 to $100 per year gets you towing and emergency service. Build an emergency car fund. The $458 per month you save by not having a car payment, save it. In 1 year, you have $5,496 saved, enough to buy another car if yours dies. Have a backup plan. Uber, Lyft, friend, coworker, rental car for a few days while repairs happen. This costs less than the difference between a used and new car. The reality, the I need reliability argument is usually rationalization for wanting a nice car. You don't need a $40,000 SUV for reliability, you want it. Because it's comfortable and makes you feel successful. Which is fine, just be honest about it. But don't confuse want with need, and don't pretend that financial irresponsibility is actually prudent planning. Chapter 8. What to do if you already violated the rule. Maybe you're reading this while sitting in a car you overpaid for. You're underwater on the loan, you're stressed about the payment, and you're realizing you screwed up. Don't panic. You're not alone, and there are ways to fix this. Step 1. Assess the damage. Calculate these numbers. Current loan balance, how much you still owe, current car value, check KBB, Edmunds, or Carvana instant offer, be honest about condition. Equity position. If value greater than loan balance, you have equity, good. If loan balance greater than value, you're underwater, bad. Monthly payment burden. What percentage of gross income is the payment? Step 2. Determine severity. Mildly over budget, payment is 12 to 15% of gross income, you're not. Underwater, you can still save some money. Action. Keep the car, but stop making this mistake on your next vehicle. Drive it until it dies. Significantly over budget, payment is 15 to 20% of gross income, might be slightly underwater, can't save for retirement. Action. Consider selling or trading down, especially if you can do it without losing money. Catastrophically over budget, payment is 20% plus of gross income, deeply underwater, can't afford basic expenses. Action. Immediate intervention needed. This is an emergency. Step 3. Explore your options. Option 1. Sell the car privately. If you have equity or are only slightly underwater, list on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, AutoTrader price competitively to sell quickly, use proceeds to pay off loan. If underwater, pay the difference from savings, buy a cheaper car with cash. Option 2. Trade down at a dealership. If you're underwater but not catastrophically, trade in your car, you'll get less than private sale. Buy a much cheaper car. Roll negative equity into new loan. Only if the new payment is much lower and you can aggressively pay it off. This is not ideal, you're financing negative equity, but it's better than drowning in an unaffordable payment. Option 3. Refinance the loan. If you can't sell and can't trade, shop for better interest rates. Refinance to lower the payment. Do not extend the term beyond what you already have. Any savings go toward paying down principal. Option 4. Voluntary repossession, last resort. If you're completely unable to afford payments and have no equity, voluntary repo is less bad than involuntary. Still destroys your credit for 7 years, you'll still owe the difference between what the car sells for and your loan balance. Only do this if you've exhausted all other options. Option 5. radical lifestyle change. If you're determined to keep the car, get a second job temporarily to pay down principal / all discretionary spending. Extra payments to build equity. Once you have equity, sell and buy something cheaper. Step 4. Prevent future mistakes. Once you fix the current situation, commit to the 10% rule for all future vehicles. Put it in writing. Tell someone to hold you accountable. Build an emergency fund. Start with $1,000, then build to 3 to 6 months' expenses. This prevents future financial emergencies from forcing desperate decisions. Track your spending. Use Mint, YNAB, or a spreadsheet. Know where every dollar goes. This awareness prevents overspending. Automate savings. Set up automatic transfers to savings and investment accounts. Pay yourself first, then live on what's left. The most important thing? Learn from this mistake. Expensive cars set your financial life back years or decades. Don't make the same mistake twice. Chapter 9. The exceptions to the 10% rule. Every rule has exceptions. Let's talk about when you might reasonably spend more than 10% of income on a car. Exception 1. Your car is your business. If you're a rideshare driver, delivery driver, or your business requires extensive driving, your car is a business expense and business asset. The 10% rule doesn't apply because your car generates income. Instead, calculate how much does the car earn you per month? What's the all-in monthly cost? Payment, insurance, maintenance, fuel. Profit equals income minus costs. If the car produces positive cash flow after all expenses, buying a nicer / newer car might make business sense. But be careful. Most rideshare drivers would make more money driving cheaper cars because the income-to-expense ratio is better. Running a new car into the ground for Uber is often a terrible financial decision disguised as investing in your business. Exception 2. Your exceptionally high income. If you make $300,000 plus per year, the 10% rule still technically applies, $30,000 car, but you might reasonably spend more because your other financial priorities are covered, maxing, retirement, kids' college, etc. A $30,000 car might not meet safety / performance needs for your lifestyle. The psychological benefit of a nicer car might be worth it when you can easily afford it, but even high earners should be thoughtful. Many people making $300,000 plus drive $60,000 to $80,000 cars when $40,000 would be fine. That extra $30,000 invested over a career is millions in retirement. Exception 3. Unique safety or family needs. Sometimes you need features that only come in more expensive vehicles. Large family needing 3-row SUV or minivan, these start around $30,000 used. Extreme weather requiring AWD/4WD in mountainous area disability, requiring specific vehicle modifications. In these cases, you might need to spend 15 to 20% of income instead of 10%. But be honest, do you actually need this, or are you rationalizing? Most people can meet their needs within the 10% rule. It just requires compromises on wants. Exception 4. You have zero other debt and substantial savings. If you own your home outright, no mortgage, have no other debt, have 6+ months emergency fund, are maxing retirement contributions, have adequate insurance, then spending 15 to 20% of income on a car won't derail your finances because everything else is handled. You can afford the luxury of a nicer car. But let's be real. If you're this disciplined financially, you probably don't want to waste money on a car anyway. Exception 5. The car will last 15 to 20 plus years. If you're buying a vehicle you'll drive until it dies, like a Toyota truck that will run 300,000 miles over 20 years, the cost per year might justify spending slightly more upfront. Example, $15,000 for a truck you'll drive 20 years equals $750 per year versus $5,000 for a car you'll drive 6 years equals $833 per year. The more expensive vehicle costs less annually if it truly lasts much longer. But this only works if you actually keep it that long. Most people trade cars every 5 to 8 years, which negates this advantage. The test for exceptions. Before claiming an exception, ask yourself, is this a need or a want? Be brutally honest. Most needs are actually wants. Will I still be financially secure if I do this? Can you max retirement, build emergency fund, and save for other goals while making this car payment? Am I rationalizing? If you're searching for reasons why the rule doesn't apply to you, you're probably rationalizing. What would I tell a friend in my situation? If a friend with your exact income and expenses asked about buying this car, what would you honestly recommend? If you can't pass all 4 tests, you're not an exception. You're justifying a mistake. Chapter 10. The Psychological Battle. The hardest part of following the 10% rule isn't finding a car and budget. It's dealing with the psychological and social pressure to violate the rule. Let's talk about the mental game. Battle 1. Status and identity. For many people, their car is their identity. It signals success, I can afford this; taste, I have good taste in cars; values, I care about the environment/adventure/family; social class, I'm upper middle class. Driving a cheap, boring car feels like admitting failure or low status. This psychological discomfort is powerful. The reframe: your car is not your identity. It's a tool that moves you from place to place. Real status comes from financial security, not from objects you're making payments on. The millionaire next door often drives a 10-year-old sedan. The guy in the lifted $70,000 truck is probably in debt and stressed. Who has higher status? The person with options and wealth, or the person with a nice truck and no savings? Battle 2. Comparison and FOMO. You see friends, co-workers, and neighbors with nice cars. You feel left out. You don't want to be the only person driving a beater. The reframe: most of those people are broke. They're playing a game they can't win, trying to look wealthy while actually destroying their wealth. You're playing a different game, actually building wealth while looking ordinary. In 10 years, you'll have $100,000 plus invested while they're still making car payments. Who won? Battle 3. Instant gratification versus delayed gratification. A nice car feels good now. Retirement savings feel good in 30 years. Your brain heavily discounts the future. The reframe: future you is still you. Screwing over future you for present you's benefit is just screwing yourself. The dopamine hit from a new car lasts about a month, then it's just your car. The stress of the payment lasts for years. Which would you rather have? Battle 4. Safety concerns. I need a safe car for my family. Cheap cars aren't safe. The reframe: modern crash safety standards mean even 15-year-old cars are reasonably safe. Yes, new cars have more advanced safety features, but the difference between a 2010 Accord and a 2024 Accord isn't life or death. It's marginal. Meanwhile, financial stress from unaffordable car payments causes health problems, relationship stress, poor decision-making, inability to afford health care, which is more dangerous to your family, driving a 2010 Camry or being financially stressed for years. Battle 5. Worthiness. I work hard. Don't I deserve a nice car? The reframe: you deserve financial security more than you deserve a nice car. You deserve to retire comfortably more than you deserve leather seats. You deserve to not be stressed about money more than you deserve the latest technology package. The question isn't what you deserve. The question is what you value most. Choose deliberately. The mental tactics that work. 1. Make it automatic. If you're saving for a car, automate the savings. Don't rely on willpower. 2. Avoid temptation. Don't browse car websites. Don't visit dealerships, just to look. Don't test drive cars you can't afford. 3. Find your people. Join communities of people. Pursuing financial independence. When everyone around you values frugality and wealth building, it's easier to resist societal pressure. 4. Track your wins. Keep a record of money saved by not buying an expensive car. Watch it grow. This makes the sacrifice tangible. 5. Visualize the future. Use a retirement calculator. See what your net worth will be if you follow the 10% rule versus violating it. Make the future real. 6. Remember your why. Why are you doing this? To retire early? To buy a house? To not be stressed? Write it down. Read it when tempted to buy beyond your means. The psychological battle is real, but it's winnable if you have the right mindset and tools. Section 3. The deeper implications. Chapter 11. What the car industry doesn't want you to know. The automotive industry, manufacturers, dealers, lenders, advertisers, has built a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem designed to get you to spend as much as possible on cars. Let's pull back the curtain. The 84-month loan trap. In 2015, the average auto loan term was 65 months. By 2023, it's 68 months, with 84-month loans, 7 years, becoming common. Why? Because longer loans mean lower monthly payments, which lets dealers sell more expensive cars to people who can't actually afford them. Here's what they don't tell you. You'll be underwater for years. Cars depreciate fastest in the first few years. With an 84-month loan, you won't have equity in the car until year 5 or 6. If you need to sell before then, you're screwed. You'll pay massive interest. A $30,000 loan at 6% for 84 months costs $5,950 in interest. The same loan for 48 months costs $3,760. You're paying an extra $2,190 just to lower the monthly payment by $125. You'll overlap car ownership and payments. Most people trade cars every 6 to 7 years. With an 84-month loan, you'll trade in while still owing money, roll negative equity into the next loan, and create a cycle of perpetual car debt. The new car every 3 years. Lease trap. Leasing is pitched as getting a new car every 3 years with no hassle. What they don't emphasize, you never own anything. After 3 years and $12,000 plus in payments, you have zero equity. You've rented the car. Mileage limits destroy value. Most leases cap you at 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. Go over and you pay 25 cents to 50 cents per mile in penalties. A 15,000-mile year costs you an extra $750 to $1,500. You're perpetually making payments. Lease one car, turn it in, lease another. You're paying $300 to $500 per month forever and never own anything. Early termination is expensive. Need to end the lease early? You'll pay the remaining payments plus penalties. You're locked in, wear and tear charges. At lease end, they charge you for every scratch, dent, and stain. Expect $500 to $2,000 in surprise charges. Leasing makes sense for business owners who can write off payments and want new cars constantly. For regular people, it's a wealth destroyer. The trade-in scam. Dealers love trade-ins because they can manipulate numbers. Scenario: you trade in a car worth $8,000. You're buying a $30,000 car. Dealer tactic: we'll give you $10,000 for your trade. You feel great. They gave you $2,000 more than expected. But then, the new car price mysteriously went from $30,000 to $32,000. They gave you extra on the trade-in and added it to the car price. Net effect? Zero. You just feel like you got a deal. Better strategy: sell your car privately for actual market value, then buy the new car separately. You'll get more money and avoid manipulation. The add-on profit centers. The finance manager's job is to sell you add-ons after you've agreed to buy the car. Their pitch: for just $20 more per month, you can add the extended warranty. Let's break down the scams. Extended warranty, $1,500 to $3,000. Sounds good, but most cars are reliable enough that you won't need it. Warranties have exclusions and loopholes that deny most claims. You're better off saving that money and paying for repairs if they happen. Dealer makes $500 to $1,000 profit on these gap insurance. Covers the difference between what you owe and what the car is worth if totaled. Sounds necessary, but only needed if you're underwater, which you shouldn't be. Regular insurance often includes this or offers it much cheaper, costs $500 to $700. Dealer profit is $300 to $400. Paint protection / fabric protection. Complete scam. They charge $500 to $1,000 for a $50 bottle of spray-on protection. You can buy the same products and DIY for $30. VIN etching. Etching your VIN on windows to deter theft. Costs $200 to $400. You can do it yourself for $20 or just not do it because it's basically useless. The true dealer profit. Dealers make money from markup on the car itself, $2,000 to $5,000, trade-in undervaluation, $500 to $2,000, financing kickbacks, $500 to $1,500, they get commission from the lender, add-ons, $1,000 to $3,000, total dealer profit on a $30,000 car deal, $4,000 to $11,500. They're not your friend. They're not trying to get you the best deal. They're trying to maximize profit, and they're very good at it. The advertising manipulation. Car commercials are incredibly sophisticated psychological operations, emotional appeals. This isn't just a car, it's freedom / adventure / family / success. They're selling identity, not transportation. Aspirational messaging. Show successful, attractive people in expensive locations. Subtext. Buy this car and you'll be like them. Focus on payment. $299 per month. They never mention the 84-month term or $10,000 down payment. Limited time pressure. Sale ends Monday. Creating false urgency to prevent rational decision-making. The monthly payment obsession. Every ad mentions monthly payment, never total cost. This anchors your thinking to monthly budgets instead of actual affordability. What they want you to believe: new cars are necessary for reliability. Everyone finances cars, it's normal. Monthly payment is all that matters. You deserve to reward yourself with a nice car. Leasing is smart and sophisticated. Their financing is the best available. You're getting a great deal. The reality: used cars from reliable brands are fine. Financing is a choice that costs you thousands in interest. Total cost matters infinitely more than monthly payment. You deserve financial security more than a nice car. Leasing is usually a bad deal for consumers. You can get better financing from credit unions. The house always wins unless you know the game. Chapter 12. The True Cost of Status. Let's talk about why we really buy expensive cars, status, and how we want to be perceived. This is uncomfortable, but necessary. The status signaling theory: humans are social creatures. We care what others think of us. We want to signal success, capability, and belonging. For the past 70 years, cars have been primary status symbols in American culture. Your car says how much money you make, or want people to think you make, what social class you belong to, how successful you are, what you value: family, adventure, luxury, performance. This is why people spend way more on cars than economically rational. They're not buying transportation, they're buying identity and status. The paradox of car-based status. Here's what's wild. The people most likely to drive expensive cars are upper middle-class professionals making $75,000 to $150,000 per year. The truly wealthy, people with $5+ million net worth, often drive modest cars. Warren Buffett drove a 2006 Cadillac for a decade. Mark Zuckerberg drives a Honda Fit. Many millionaires drive Camrys and Accords. Why? Because they don't need to signal wealth. They have actual wealth. They're not insecure about it. The $100,000 per year middle manager buying a $60,000 BMW? They're signaling a status they don't actually have. They're trying to convince themselves and others that they're more successful than their bank account suggests. The real status symbols. You know what's actually high status? Not caring about car-based status. Real status markers: financial independence and security, freedom to quit a job you hate, no debt except maybe a reasonable mortgage, ability to retire early if you want options and flexibility in life, peace of mind about money, helping family members financially. None of these are visible from your driveway, but they're infinitely more valuable than a nice car. The cost of faking status: when you buy a $50,000 car on a $75,000 salary, you're trading real financial security for the appearance of success. You're signaling, "I'm successful," while actually being in debt, unable to save for retirement, adequately stressed about money. One emergency away from financial crisis, you're impressing strangers who don't care about you while destroying your actual financial life. The rich person trap. There's a perverse dynamic where people want to be perceived as rich more than they want to actually be rich. Being actually rich requires living below your means, delayed gratification, investing instead of spending, driving boring cars, looking ordinary. Looking rich requires expensive car designer clothes, luxury lifestyle. Living at or above your means, perpetual debt. Most people choose looking rich over being rich, then wonder why they're stressed about money at 55 with minimal retirement savings. The status alternative. What if, instead of signaling status through consumption, you signaled it through different means? Alternative status markers. Competence. Being exceptionally good at your job or craft. This gets you respect without spending money. Helpfulness. Being the person others can count on. Status through relationships and reliability. Knowledge. Being genuinely knowledgeable about topics you care about. People respect expertise. Character. Having integrity. following through on commitments, treating people well. This earns genuine respect. Freedom, having the time and resources to pursue what matters to you. This is enviable in ways a car never will be. These cost nothing but are worth more than any car. The test. Next time you're tempted to buy more car than you should, ask, am I buying this for me or for other people's perception of me? If the honest answer is other people's perception, you're making a mistake. Other people don't care about your car as much as you think. They notice it for 3 seconds, then forget about it and go back to worrying about their own lives. That $50,000 car you bought to impress others, they don't remember what you drive, but you'll remember the payment every month for 6 years. Chapter 13, the retirement impact. Let's make this concrete with numbers. What does violating the 10% rule actually cost you in retirement? This is where the long-term consequences become undeniable. The scenario, year 25. Years old, making $50,000 per year. Option A, follow the 10% rule. Buy a $5,000 car in cash. No monthly payment, invest $400 per month that you would have spent on a car payment. Do this from age 25 to 65, 40 years. Option B, violate the 10% rule. Buy a $30,000 car with a loan, $500 per month payment for 6 years. Repeat this cycle. New $30,000 car every 6 years until retirement. Never invest the car payment money. The math for option A, $400 per month invested for 40 years at 8% average return. Year 10, $73,000. Year 20, $235,000. Year 30, $545,000. Year 40, $1,295,000. You have $1.3 million at retirement from not buying expensive cars. The math for option B, $500 per month payment for 6 years, repeated 6 times, roughly every 6 years from 25 to 65. Total paid in car payments, $180,000. Cars owned at retirement, $0. They all depreciated to nothing. Retirement savings from car money, $0. You spent $180,000 on cars and have nothing to show for it. The difference, following. The 10% rule versus violating it. Difference in retirement savings, $1,295,000. Additional wealth from following the rule, over $1 million. You traded $1.3 million in retirement savings for nicer cars during your working years. But wait, it gets worse. The above calculation assumes you only invested the car payment difference. In reality, option A, cheap car, additional benefits, lower insurance, save $500 to $1,000 per year, equals $20,000 to $40,000 over 40 years. Lower maintenance. Actually, no, older cars cost more to maintain, so this is a wash or slightly worse. No interest payments. Saved $6,000 per car times 6 cars equals $36,000. Total saved $56,000 to $76,000 additional. If you invested this too, another $100,000 to $150,000 at retirement. Real total difference, $1.4 to $1.45 million. What $1.4 million means, using the 4% rule, safe withdrawal rate, $1.4 million generates $56,000 per year in retirement income, $4,667 per month forever, without running out. That's the difference between comfortable retirement where you don't worry about money, barely scraping by on Social Security, all because of car choices. The earlier you start, the bigger the impact. This calculation started at age 25. What if you started at 30? 35? 40? Starting at 30, $916,000 at retirement, 35 years of investing. Starting at 35, $629,000 at retirement, 30 years of investing. Starting at 40, $419,000 at retirement, 25 years of investing. Still life-changing amounts, but less time to compound means less final wealth. The message: start following the 10% rule now, regardless of your age. The counter-argument: but I'm not going to invest the car payment difference. I'll spend it on other stuff. Fair point. Most people don't invest extra money. They spend it on lifestyle inflation. But here's the thing. If you can afford a $500 car payment, you can afford to invest $400 and spend $100 on lifestyle. The discipline to keep car costs low often correlates with discipline in other financial areas, and even if you don't invest all of it, investing some of it is better than nothing. The psychological reality. Most people don't run these calculations. They don't think about 40-year consequences of today's decisions. They think, it's just a car. Everyone has car payments. This won't make or break my retirement. They're wrong. For most middle-class Americans, car expenses are one of the top 3 wealth destroyers, along with housing and not investing early. Fixing your car spending can literally change whether you retire comfortably or die broke. Chapter 14. The environmental and societal costs. Let's zoom out beyond personal finance and talk about what our car culture costs society and the environment. The environmental impact. Manufacturing. Producing a new car generates 15 to 25 tons of CO2 before it ever drives a mile. The mining, smelting, manufacturing, and shipping process is environmentally catastrophic. Driving, obviously cars emit CO2 while driving, but modern cars are relatively efficient. Disposal, when cars die, they create waste. Recycling helps but doesn't eliminate environmental cost. The environmental math, buying a new car versus keeping an old car running. New car, 20 tons of CO2 to manufacture, plus emissions from driving. Old car, just emissions from driving. Manufacturing already happened. Unless the old car is dramatically less fuel efficient, like 15 miles per gallon versus 40 miles per gallon, keeping it running is usually environmentally better than buying a new car. The environmental argument for new electric cars breaks down when you consider manufacturing EVs generates massive CO2. Battery production is very polluting. Electricity often comes from fossil fuels. You have to drive the EV 50,000 to 100,000 miles before it breaks even environmentally with keeping an old gas car. I'm not saying don't buy EVs, they're probably the future. I'm saying the environmental argument for buying a new car, electric or gas, is often overstated. The societal costs, urban sprawl, car-centric culture enables sprawl. People live 30 miles from work because they can drive. This creates inefficient land use, loss of farmland and nature, segregated communities, longer commutes, and more time wasted, infrastructure costs, roads, highways, parking lots, and traffic systems cost trillions to build and maintain. This is funded by taxes, meaning everyone pays for car infrastructure whether they drive or not. Traffic deaths. 40,000 plus Americans die in car crashes annually. Cars are one of the leading causes of death for people under 50. Health costs. Car-centric design means less walking, more obesity, air pollution causing asthma and lung disease. Sedentary lifestyles contributing to heart disease. Economic inefficiency. Americans spend 100 plus hours per year commuting. That's time not spent with family, pursuing hobbies, or being productive. The economic cost is massive. Wealth inequality, car. Dependency hurts poor people disproportionately. Can't afford reliable cars, so they buy cheap, unreliable ones that break down. Breakdowns cause them to miss work and lose jobs. No car means limited job access in car-dependent areas. Forced to spend huge percentage of income on transportation. The alternative, what if instead of everyone buying $30,000 to $50,000 cars, we invested in public transit, buses, trains, subways? In cities with good transit, car ownership is optional. Built walkable communities, mixed-use neighborhoods where you can walk to work, groceries, school, entertainment, promoted cycling, protected bike lanes, bike-sharing programs, embraced car sharing. Not everyone needs to own a car. Zipcar, Turo, and similar services let you access a car when needed. This would save individuals thousands per year, reduce environmental impact, make cities more livable, reduce traffic deaths, free up time spent commuting, reduce wealth inequality. But this requires political will, cultural change, and massive infrastructure investment. It's not happening soon in most of America. The personal choice. You can't fix societal car dependency alone, but you can make better personal choices. If you live in a city with transit, consider not owning a car. Use transit, bikes, and occasional rideshare/rentals. You'll save $8,000 to $12,000 per year. If you must drive, buy the cheapest, reliable car that meets your needs. Drive it until it dies. This minimizes environmental and financial impact. If you can, advocate for better transit, walkable development, and bike infrastructure in your community. The more options people have, the less they're forced into car dependency. The irony? Americans complain about gas prices, traffic, commutes, and car expenses. Then they vote against transit funding, oppose higher density development, and move to car-dependent suburbs. We've created this system collectively, and we maintain it through our choices. If we wanted to change it, we could. We just don't want to badly enough. Chapter 15. The Alternative Transportation Options. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What if you just didn't own a car? For many Americans, this seems impossible. But for millions of people in cities worldwide, it's completely normal. Option 1. Public transit. Where it works. Cities with robust transit systems. NYC, Chicago, SF, DC, Boston, Portland, Seattle. The costs. Monthly pass. $50 to $150. Annual cost. $600 to $1,800. Compare to car ownership. No $20,000 to $30,000 purchase. No $300 to $500 monthly payment. No $100 to $200 monthly insurance. No $100 to $150 monthly fuel. No maintenance costs. Total savings, $8,000 to $12,000 per year. The downsides: less convenient, longer trips, waiting, transfers, weather exposure, crowded during rush hour, limited schedules, especially weekends/nights, doesn't work well for families with kids. The upsides: massive cost savings, can read, work, or relax during commute. No parking stress. Better for environment, forces you to live in walkable areas, which tend to be more interesting. Option 2. Biking where it works. Cities with bike infrastructure, mild weather, and distances under 5 to 10 miles. The costs: decent bike, $400 to $800 one time. Maintenance, $100 per year. Annual cost, $100 to $200. Compared to car, saves $10,000 plus per year. The downsides: weather dependent, dangerous in cities without bike infrastructure, limits distance and cargo capacity, arrive sweaty if long distance. The upsides: exercise built into daily routine, extremely cheap, never stuck in traffic. Parking is easy, fun, and engaging versus boring. Driving, option 3, walking plus occasional rideshare/rental. Where it works: dense urban areas where most needs are walkable. The costs: walking, free rideshare when needed, $100 to $300 per month rental car for trips, $200 to $400 per year. Annual cost, $1,400 to $4,000. Compare to car, saves $6,000 to $10,000 per year. The downsides: limited range, weather-dependent rideshare costs add up, can't haul large items easily. The upsides: huge cost savings, exercise from walking, no parking or maintenance stress, flexibility, rideshare when you need it, walk when you don't. Option 4, car sharing, Zipcar, Turo, etc. Where it works: cities with car sharing programs. The costs: Zipcar, $9 to $15 per hour or $70 to $100 per day. Turo, $30 to $70 per day. If you use it 2 times per month, $600 to $1,500 per year. If you use it weekly, $3,000 to $6,000 per year. Compare to car, saves $4,000 to $9,000 per year depending on usage. The downsides: need to plan ahead and book, not always available when you want, more expensive for frequent use, can't store your stuff in the car. The upsides: no ownership costs, insurance, maintenance, registration, access to different vehicles for different needs, pay only when you use it, still cheaper than owning unless you drive constantly. The combination approach: many car-free people combine methods: bike for daily commute, walk for errands, transit for longer trips, rideshare for late nights or bad weather, rental car for road trips or hauling large items. Total annual cost, $2,000 to $4,000. Compared to car ownership, $8,000 to $12,000 per year. Annual savings, $4,000 to $10,000. Over 10 years, $40,000 to $100,000 saved, invested at 8%, $73,000 to $183,000. The reality check: going car-free doesn't work for everyone. If you live in a car-dependent suburb, it's nearly impossible. If you have kids, it's much harder, but people do it. If your job requires driving, obviously you need a car. If you value convenience highly, you'll hate it. But for young people, especially in cities, Going car-free for 5 to 10 years while building wealth is one of the best financial decisions you can make. You save $50,000 to $100,000. Invested, this becomes $100,000 to $200,000 plus by retirement. That's a year or two of retirement funded entirely by not owning a car when you were 25. The what about emergencies question. People worry about not having a car for emergencies, but most emergencies aren't. You can schedule medical appointments, plan for grocery runs, and arrange trips in advance. True emergencies, rush someone to ER, are rare. Rideshare exists. Uber/Lyft gets you anywhere in 5 to 10 minutes in cities. For true emergencies, call an ambulance. Rentals exist. Need a car for a week? Rent one for $300, still way cheaper than owning. Friends and family. Most people without cars know someone with a car they can borrow occasionally. The emergency objection is usually just loss aversion, fearing the loss of convenience more than appreciating the massive financial gain. Section 4, The Real World Strategies. Chapter 16, How to Buy a Used Car Without Getting Screwed. You're convinced. You're following the 10% rule. You're buying used. Now you need to actually execute without getting ripped off. Here's the complete guide. Step 1. Determine your exact budget, not around $5,000 or up to $6,000. An exact number. Calculate your max purchase price, 10% of gross income. Subtract $500 to $1,000 for immediate repairs/maintenance. Subtract sales tax. Check your state rate, usually 5 to 10%. Subtract registration fees, $100 to $300. What's left is your actual shopping budget. Example, you make $50,000 per year. Max budget, $5,000. Immediate repairs fund, minus $800. Sales tax, 7%, minus $350. Registration, minus $200. Shopping budget, $3,650. Now you're shopping for cars under $3,650, knowing you have money set aside for everything else. Step 2. Research reliability data obsessively. Before you look at a single car, spend 5 to 10 hours researching. Resources, consumer reports, reliability ratings for every make/model/year. Worth the subscription, $40 per year. RepairPal, average repair costs by model. Shows which cars are money pits. Edmunds true cost to own. Calculates total 5-year ownership costs including depreciation, fuel, insurance, maintenance, car complaints. Database of common issues by model year. Shows which years had transmission failures, engine problems, etc. Forums. Every car model has enthusiast forums. Search car model problems or car model issues. Real owners discuss real problems. What you're looking for. Models with high reliability ratings, 4 to 5 out of 5. Low average annual repair costs, under $500 per year. Few major complaints for the year. You're considering active parts availability. Popular models equals cheaper parts. Simple, proven technology. Fewer things to break. The shortlist. Based on this research, you should have 3 to 5 models in your budget that meet reliability criteria. Example. Shortlist for $3,650 budget. 2007 to 2009 Honda Civic, 2006 to 2008 Toyota Corolla, 2008 to 2010 Honda Fit, 2007 to 2009 Mazda 3, 2008 to 2010 Hyundai Elantra. Step 3. Find cars for sale. Where to look? Facebook Marketplace. Largest selection. Lots of private party. Sales. Free to list so everyone uses it. Craigslist. Still active but less popular than it used to be. Good for finding deals from people who aren't tech savvy. Autotrader/cars.com. More dealer listings but also private party. Good filtering options. Carvana/Vroom. Online dealers. Prices are usually higher but buying process is easier. CarMax. No haggle pricing. You'll pay a premium but less stressful than traditional dealers. Private party versus dealer. Private party pros, lower prices, no dealer markup, can talk to the actual owner about history. More room to negotiate. Private party cons, no warranty or guarantees, higher risk of problems, more work, inspections, paperwork, etc. Dealer pros, usually inspected and certified, may include warranty, easier paperwork and financing options. Dealer cons, higher prices, dealer markup is $1,500 to $3,000, sales pressure and manipulation. Still no guarantee the car is good. For budget shopping, go private. Party. You need every dollar to count, and dealer markup will blow your budget. Step 4. Evaluate listings like a detective. When you find a car in your price range, don't immediately call. Investigate first. Red flags in the listing, too cheap. If a 2010 Honda Civic is listed for $2,000 when similar ones are $4,500, something is very wrong. It's either a scam or has major issues. Too few photos. Honest sellers show the car from every angle. If there are only 2 to 3 photos, they're hiding something. Vague description. Good car, runs fine, some issues. What issues? This is a red flag. Multiple owners in short time. Check Carfax. If the car has had 4 owners in 3 years, people keep dumping it because it has problems. Salvage/rebuilt title. The car was totaled in an accident or flood and rebuilt. Never buy these unless you're a mechanic who can verify the rebuild was done properly. Mismatched info. Description says 120,000 miles, but title says 180,000 miles. Huge red flag. 4. Odometer fraud. Green flags in the listing. Detailed description. Owner explains exactly what's been done to the car, what works, what doesn't. Honest sellers are transparent. Maintenance records. Have all service records means the owner actually maintained it. 1 or 2 owners, fewer owners usually means more care. Recent major services, just did timing belt, water pump and brakes, means you won't need to do these immediately. Minor issues mentioned, small dent in rear bumper, AC blows warm, honest about flaws. Clear title, clean title means no accidents or salvage history. Step 5, contact the seller strategically. When you find a promising car, don't sound desperate. What to ask? Is the car still available? Confirm before wasting time. Why are you selling? Good answers. Upgrading. Don't need it anymore. Bad answers. It's giving me problems. What's the maintenance history? Have they done oil changes, major services? Any mechanical issues I should know about? Honest sellers will tell you, can I see maintenance records? Documented maintenance is gold. Has it ever been in an accident? Compare answer to Carfax later. Would you be willing to meet at a mechanic for a pre-purchase inspection? This scares away sellers with something to hide. Red flag responses, I need to sell it today. Pressure tactic, probably a scam. Cash only, no inspection needed. Major red flag. It's perfect, no issues at all. Nothing is perfect at this price point. Gives vague or evasive answers, they're hiding something. Green flag responses. Detailed, honest answers including minor issues. Sure you can have it inspected, provides VIN immediately when asked, has records or knows service history. Step 6. Run a vehicle history report. Before you waste time looking at the car, run the VIN through Carfax or AutoCheck, $40 to $60. What you're checking? Accident history. Minor accidents are okay if repaired properly. Major accidents or multiple accidents are red flags. Title status, clean title only. Never buy salvage, rebuilt, or flood damaged. Odometer consistency. Make sure mileage increases logically over time. Gaps or decreases indicate odometer fraud. Number of owners. Fewer is usually better. 4+ owners on a 10-year-old car is concerning. Service records. Some Carfax reports show when the car was serviced at dealers. This is great data. Lemon status. Some states brand cars as lemons if they had recurring defects. Avoid these. Step 7. The pre-purchase inspection. Non-negotiable. This is the most important step. Do not skip this. Ever. How it works. Schedule a test drive. Tell the seller you'll drive it to your mechanic for inspection. Pay mechanic $100 to $150 for pre-purchase inspection. PPI. Mechanic checks everything and gives you a detailed report. Use report to negotiate or walk away. What the mechanic checks. Engine. Oil leaks. Unusual noises. Compression test. Check engine light codes. Transmission. Shifting quality. Fluid condition. Leaks. Brakes. Pad thickness. Rotor condition. Brake lines. Suspension. Shocks. Struts. Ball joints. Tie rods. Tires. Tread depth. Even wear. Age exhaust. Leaks. Rust. Catalytic converter condition. Electrical. Battery, alternator, all lights and features. Body, frame damage, rust, paint condition. Fluids, all fluid levels and condition. Computer scan, check for error codes even if check engine light is off. The mechanic's verdict, they'll give you a list of current problems and upcoming maintenance. Minor issues, okay to buy. Needs new tires soon, $400 to $600. Front brakes at 30%, $200 to $300. Small oil leak not urgent, $100 to $300. Battery is old but works, $100 to $150. Total, $800 to $1,350 in near future costs. You budgeted for this. Major issues, walk away. Transmission slipping, repair, $2,500 to $4,000. Head gasket leak, repair, $1,500 to $2,500. Significant rust on frame, structural issue, unsafe. Multiple cylinder misfires. Engine problems, $1,000 plus. These cost more than the car is worth. Walk away immediately. Step 8. Negotiate based on inspection results. If the inspection shows minor issues, use them to negotiate. The script. The car looks good overall, but the inspection found it needs new tires, front brakes, and has a small oil leak. That's about $900 in immediate repairs. Would you take $2,750? You are going to pay $3,650. Most sellers will. Counter. I can do $3,200. Split the difference. Accept. Okay, $2,750 works. You saved $900. Refuse. No, price is firm. You decide if $3,650 is worth it, knowing about the issues. Your decision matrix. If seller won't negotiate and issues total under $500, probably still worth buying at ask price $500 to $1,000. Think carefully about total cost. Over $1,000, walk away, car is overpriced, given condition. Step 9, paperwork and payment. You've agreed on price. Now, close the deal safely. Payment method, cash, bring exact amount, count it together, get a receipt, cashier's check, from your bank, safer than carrying huge cash amounts. Seller can verify it's real, never. Personal checks, they can bounce. Venmo/PayPal/Zelle, no fraud protection. Wire transfers for private party sales required documents. Title, must be clean, no salvage rebuilt. Signed by seller with no liens. Check your state's requirements for title transfer. Bill of sale, simple document with car details, price, date, buyer/seller signatures. Both keep copies. Release of liability. Some states require seller to file this so they're not liable after sale. Odometer disclosure. Federal law requires accurate mileage statement. Smog/emissions certificate required in some states. Seller usually provides. Your responsibilities after purchase. Insurance. Get coverage before driving at home. Call your insurance company with the VIN and get coverage effective immediately. Registration. Take title and paperwork to DMV within 10 to 30 days. Varies by state. Pay registration and transfer fees. Plates. You might need new plates or can transfer your old plates depending on state. Step 10. The first month of ownership. You bought the car. Congratulations. Now maintain it properly. Immediate tasks. Change all fluids. Oil, transmission, coolant, brake fluid, power steering. You don't know when previous owner did this. Start fresh. Cost, $200 to $400. Replace cabin and engine air filters. Cheap and easy. Cost, $40. Check all lights. Replace any burned out bulbs. Cost, $20 to $50. Inspect tires carefully. Even if they have tread, check age, DOT date code on sidewall. Tires older than 6 years should be replaced. Cost, $400 to $600 if needed. Set up maintenance schedule. Based on owner's manual, create a calendar for oil changes, tire rotations, etc. Learn basic maintenance. How to check oil, add windshield fluid, check tire pressure. YouTube has tutorials for your specific model. Join owner forums. Find the forum for your car model. These people know every common problem and fix. Invaluable resource. Chapter 17. The maintenance strategy that saves thousands. You bought a cheap car. Now you need to keep it running forever. This is where most people fail. They buy cheap and then neglect maintenance until something catastrophic breaks. The philosophy, Preventive maintenance is always cheaper than reactive repairs. Spending $100 every 6 months on maintenance is cheaper than spending $3,000 on a repair that could have been prevented. The basic schedule: every 3,000 to 5,000 miles or 6 months. Oil change, $40 to $70 DIY, $70 to $100 at shop. Tire rotation, $20 to $40, free at some shops. Fluid level check, free, do it yourself. Visual inspection for leaks or issues, free, every 30,000 miles or 2 to 3 years. Replace air filters, $40 to $60 DIY. Replace cabin air filter, $20 to $40 DIY. Replace spark plugs, $80 to $200, depending on engine. Check/replace battery if needed, $100 to $150. Brake inspection, replace pads if needed, $200 to $400, every 60,000 miles or 5 to 6 years. Transmission fluid change, $100 to $200. Coolant flush, $100 to $150. Brake fluid change, $80 to $120. Drive belt replacement, $100 to $200, every 90,000 to 100,000 miles. Timing, belt replacement, if your engine has one, $600 to $1,000. Water pump replacement, usually done with timing belt, add $200 to $300. The critical ones you cannot skip: oil changes. This is the most important maintenance. Old oil doesn't lubricate properly. Engines running on old oil wear out 10 times faster. Miss enough oil changes and you'll need a new engine. $3,000 to $7,000. Timing belt, if applicable. If your engine has a timing belt, not all do. Replacing it on schedule is critical. If the timing belt breaks while driving, it can destroy the entire engine. Many engines are interference engines, where a broken timing belt means bent valves, destroyed. Pistons, total engine failure. A $600 timing belt replacement prevents a $5,000 engine replacement. The DIY versus shop decision. Some maintenance you can DIY, some requires a shop. Easy, DIY saves 50 to 70% on labor. Oil changes, air filter replacement, cabin filter replacement, wiper blade replacement, headlight bulb replacement, battery replacement, checking/adding fluids, moderate DIY, requires tools and knowledge. Brake pad replacement, spark plug replacement, serpentine belt replacement shop required, timing belt replacement, complex high stakes, transmission work, engine work, anything requiring lifting the car safely, electrical diagnostics. The cost benefit: if you DIY the easy stuff and use a shop for complex stuff. Annual DIY savings, $300 to $500 over 10 years, $3,000 to $5,000 saved. Plus you learn how cars work, which helps you spot problems early. The find a good mechanic strategy. Not all mechanics are equal. You need to find a trustworthy, competent mechanic before you need one urgently. How to find them: ask for recommendations. Ask friends, co-workers, neighbors. Personal recommendations are gold. Look for independent shops, not chains. Independent mechanics usually provide better service at lower prices than dealerships or chain shops. Check online reviews, but read them carefully. Look for patterns, not individual complaints. Test them with small jobs. Get an oil change or tire rotation first. If they're honest and do quality work on small jobs, they'll likely be good for big jobs. Red flags: pressure you to do unnecessary services. Won't show you the problem. Unclear or vague explanations. Prices way above or below market rate. Defensive when you ask questions. Green flags: show you the problem and explain it clearly. Give you options. Expensive fix versus cheaper, temporary fix. Don't push unnecessary services. Warranty their work. Answer questions patiently. The maintenance fund. Set aside $100 to $150 per month in a dedicated car maintenance fund. Some months you spend nothing. Some months you spend $800 on tires. The fund smooths this out. After a year, you have $1,200 to $1,800 saved. When something breaks, you pay from the fund, not from your regular budget or credit card. This prevents car repairs from becoming financial emergencies. Chapter 18. When to repair versus when to replace. Eventually, Your cheap car will need expensive repairs. How do you know when to fix it versus when to dump it and buy another cheap car? The decision framework. Repair? If the car is worth more than the repair cost. Car value, $3,000. Repair cost, $1,200. After repair, car is worth $3,000 and will last another 2+ years. Repairing makes sense. You're not dealing with cascading failures. One major repair, probably worth fixing multiple major issues appearing simultaneously. The car is dying, cut your losses. The repair prevents further damage. Coolant leak. Fix it or the engine overheats and dies. Brake problem, fix it, or you crash safety and preventing bigger problems equals repair. Replace if the repair costs more than the car is worth. Car value, $2,000. Repair cost, $3,000. You're spending $3,000 to own a $2,000 car. Just buy another $2,000 car instead. Multiple major systems are failing. Transmission slipping and engine burning oil and suspension worn out. This car is dying. Don't throw good money after bad. It's a recurring problem. You fix the transmission, it failed again. You're putting $1,500 per year into the same recurring issue.
Go ahead and step
Cut your
inside.
losses.
The interior finishes
Repair
are
costs
stunning on this
exceed
model.
50% of car value annually. If you're spending more than half the car's value each year in repairs, you're better off replacing. The math example. You drive a 2008 Honda Civic worth $3,500. The transmission is failing. Repair cost, $3,000. Option A, repair pay $3,000. Now car runs another 3 years. Cost per year, $1,000 total. 3-year cost, $3,000. Option B, replace sell car as is for $1,000. Broken transmission reduces value. Buy another 2008 Civic for $3,500. Net cost, $2,500. $3,500 minus $1,000. New car runs 3 years with normal maintenance. Total 3-year cost, $2,500 plus maintenance. Option B is actually slightly cheaper, and you have a car with a working transmission. But if the repair cost was $1,500 instead of $3,000, option A becomes clearly better. The emotional factor, people get attached to cars. This car has been so reliable, I don't want to give up on it. Understandable, but economics don't care about emotions. Run the numbers objectively. The sunk cost fallacy. I've put $2,000 into this car already, I can't give up now. Wrong. Money already spent is gone. It's irrelevant to the decision about future spending. The question is, will spending X dollars now give me more value than spending X dollars on a different car? The replacement strategy. When it's time to replace, sell the broken car. Even with issues, someone will buy it for parts or repair. A car with a broken transmission might sell for $500 to $1,500. Use that money toward the next car, plus the money you've been saving in your maintenance fund. Repeat the buying process. Find another reliable used car, get it inspected, buy it cheap. The cycle continues. You're always driving cheap, reliable cars, never making payments, constantly saving money. Chapter 19. The lifestyle adjustments that make this sustainable. Following the 10% rule requires lifestyle changes. Let's talk about making those changes sustainable long term. Adjustment 1. Redefine car expectations. Old mindset. Cars should be comfortable, stylish, impressive, and showcase success. New mindset. Cars are tools that transport you from point A to point B. They should be reliable and safe. Everything else is optional luxury. Your car doesn't define you. Your bank account does, but nobody can see that. Adjustment 2. Embrace. Delayed gratification. The trade. Drive a boring car for 5 to 10 years, build wealth, then either buy a nicer car with cash when you're financially stable, or realize you don't care about cars anymore and keep driving cheap cars. The timeline? Age 25 to 30, drive $5,000 cars, invest $400 per month, age 30 to 35. Drive $5,000 cars, investments now worth $35,000, age 35 to 40. Drive $5,000 cars, investments now worth $90,000, age 40. Have $150,000 invested from car savings alone. At 40, you can afford a $30,000 car in cash if you want, or keep driving cheap cars and retire 10 years early. Adjustment 3. Find pride in financial discipline. Old source of pride. I drive a nice car, I'm successful. New source of pride. I'm 30 and have $100,000 invested. I'm actually successful. Shift from external validation, what others see, to internal validation, what you know about your finances. Join communities of people pursuing financial independence. When everyone around you values financial freedom over stuff, it's easier to maintain discipline. Adjustment 4. Get comfortable with good enough. Your $5,000 car doesn't have heated seats, backup camera, Bluetooth, navigation, premium sound, fancy interior. It has 4 wheels, an engine that runs, brakes that work, seats that exist. This is sufficient. Heated seats are nice. Not having car payments is nicer. Adjustment 5. Accept that some people will judge you. Some people will notice your old car and make assumptions. They must not make much money. They must not care about nice things. They must be struggling. Let them. Their opinion doesn't pay your bills or fund your retirement. Meanwhile, they're driving cars they can't afford, stressed about money, and not building wealth. The response: smile and drive away in your paid-off Civic to deposit another $500 into your investment account. Adjustment 6. Find other ways to enjoy life. The money you're not spending on car payments? Spend it on things that actually improve your life. Travel. $3,000 for an amazing trip creates memories forever. Hobbies. $1,000 for a hobby you love beats a nicer car. Experiences. $500 for concert tickets with friends beats heated seats. Time. Having no car payment means less financial stress, which means better quality of life. Cars depreciate. Experiences appreciate in your memory. Adjustment 7. Make it a game. Challenge yourself. How long can I make this car last? Keep a spreadsheet. Miles driven, money spent on maintenance. Money saved versus car payments. Investment account growth from savings. Watching these numbers grow is satisfying. It gamifies frugality. Chapter 20. Teaching this to the next generation. If you have kids, teaching them about cars and money could be the most valuable financial lesson they ever learn. What kids learn from parents' car choices. If you drive expensive cars on loans, cars are important status symbols. It's normal to make car payments forever. Looking successful matters more than being financially secure. Delayed gratification is for suckers. If you drive cheap cars and invest the difference, cars are tools, not identity. Financial independence matters more than appearances. Delayed gratification leads to actual wealth. Status comes from net worth, not from objects. How to teach it explicitly. Age 10 to 14. Basic concepts. We could buy a nicer car, but we choose to drive this one and invest the money we save. In 20 years, that money will help us retire early. Show them the compound interest calculator. Let them see how $400 per month becomes $1 million over 40 years. Age 15 to 17. Real calculations. When they're learning to drive, show them total cost of car ownership, insurance, gas, maintenance, difference between cheap and expensive cars, opportunity cost of spending versus investing. Have them calculate if you buy a $20,000 car at 18 versus a $5,000 car and invest the difference, how much more money will you have at 65? The answer, over $1 million, makes it real. Age 18 to 22. First car decision, help them buy their first car following the 10% rule. If they're working part-time making $15,000 a year, they get a $1,500 car. Let them experience buying a cheap car, maintaining it themselves, teach them basic maintenance, saving money by not having payments, investing the money they save. This establishes good habits before they develop expensive tastes. The hard part, not caving to pressure. Your kid will say, "All my friends have nice cars, I'll be embarrassed." Your response, "Your friends have nice cars and no savings. You have a car that works and money invested. In 10 years, you'll have $50,000 and they'll still be making car payments. Which would you rather have?" Stand firm. This is a gift, even if they don't appreciate it now. The alternative, if you give in and buy them a nice car, they learn that appearances matter more than finances. They never learn delayed gratification. They start adulthood with expensive tastes and no money. They repeat your mistakes, or worse, the long-term impact. A 20-year-old who follows the 10% rule and invests the difference. Age 25, $40,000 invested. Age 30, $100,000 invested. Age 35, $200,000 invested. Age 40, $350,000 invested. Age 50, $750,000 invested. Age 65, $2,500,000 invested. They're a multimillionaire before retirement because they drove cheap cars in their 20s and 30s. A 20-year-old who buys expensive cars on payments. Age 65, $200,000 invested. They started investing seriously in their 40s after years of car payments. The difference is $2.3 million in retirement savings. That's the gift you give your kid by teaching them this lesson. Bonus section, the advanced topics and edge cases. Chapter 21, the geographic factor, how location changes. Everything where you live dramatically affects how much car you actually need and what the 10% rule looks like. In practice, urban versus suburban versus rural dense urban, New York City, San Francisco, Chicago, Boston. The 10% rule might actually be spend 0% on a car because you don't need one. Advantages, excellent public transit. Everything walkable or bikeable. Parking costs $300 to $500 per month, more than a car payment. Insurance rates are insane, $2,000 to $4,000 per year. Traffic makes driving slower than transit. The math, monthly transit pass, $100 to $150. Occasional ride share, $100 per month. Rental car for trips, $50 per month average. Total, $250 to $300 per month, compared to car ownership, $600 to $1,000 per month. Payment, insurance, parking, gas. Savings, $350 to $700 per month, or $4,200 to $8,400 per year. Over 10 years, $42,000 to $84,000 saved, invested at 8%, $77,000 to $154,000. Going car-free in dense cities is the ultimate 10% rule compliance. You spend zero, suburban, most of America. This is where the 10% rule is designed for. You need a car, but you have options. Advantages, lower insurance than cities, $900 to $1,500 per year, more space for DIY maintenance. Private party sales are common. Can negotiate from position of strength. You can wait for right car. Challenges, everything requires driving. Longer commutes mean more fuel costs. Higher mileage means more frequent repairs. Social pressure, everyone has nice cars. The strategy, strict 10% rule compliance. Buy reliable used cars. Do basic maintenance yourself. Shop insurance aggressively. Rates vary 3 times between companies. Rural, small towns, countryside. Cars are absolutely necessary, but costs can be lower. Advantages, lower insurance, $600 to $1,000 per year. Cheaper used cars, lower demand. Less traffic means less wear. More people who can help with repairs. Challenges, longer distances mean more fuel. Fewer public transit alternatives, may need truck/SUV for practical reasons. Weather, roads, hauling. Fewer car options locally, might need to travel to buy. The rural exception, in truly rural areas, you might need a truck or 4-wheel drive vehicle for practical reasons. Snow, dirt roads, farming, hauling. A used 4-wheel drive truck costs more than a sedan. You might need to go 12 to 15% of income instead of 10%. But rural living is cheaper overall, so this balances out in total budget. The state-by-state variation, expensive car states. Hawaii, everything shipped in, cars cost 20% more. Alaska, harsh weather, limited selection, higher prices. California, high sales tax, 7 to 10%, expensive registration, strict emissions, cheap car states. Michigan, auto industry presence, lots of inventory. Texas, no state income tax, lower sales tax, cheap registration. Florida, no state income tax, huge used car market. The strategy based on location. If you're in an expensive car state, consider buying in a cheaper nearby state and registering there, if legal. Be even more strict with budget. Look for private party sales to avoid dealer markup. Factor higher registration/insurance into your 10% calculation. If you're in a cheap car state, take advantage of abundant inventory, negotiate aggressively, more competition between sellers. Still follow 10% rule even though you could afford more. The moving to save money consideration. Some people in high-cost areas should seriously consider relocating. Example, living in San Francisco, rent $3,000 per month need car despite transit for weekend trips, grocery hauls. $600 per month, hire everything plus $1,000 per month. Total, $4,600 per month for housing plus transportation, moving to Austin. Rent, $1,500 per month. Car necessary, $400 per month. Total, $1,900 per month for housing plus transportation. Monthly savings, $2,700. Annual savings, $32,400 over 10 years, $324,000. If your job allows remote work, geographic arbitrage could save you more than following the 10% rule ever could. Chapter 22, The Special Cases, when standard rules don't apply. Let's address specific situations where the 10% rule gets complicated. Case 1. The salesperson who drives for work. You're in pharmaceutical sales, real estate, or another field where you drive to client meetings daily. The dilemma: you need a car that's presentable, can't show up in a beater. You need it to be reliable, can't miss client meetings. You drive 30,000 plus miles per year, high wear. The standard advice fails. Following the 10% rule strictly would give you a car that might hurt your professional image and cost you sales. The modified approach: calculate your car's business contribution. If having a nicer car generates $10,000 per year in additional sales, cheap car, $5,000 purchase, generates $50,000 per year in sales. Nice car, $15,000 purchase, generates $60,000 per year in sales. Net benefit of nicer car, $10,000 per year in sales minus $10,000 extra cost. You break even in year 1, then the extra sales are pure profit. The limits: don't buy a luxury car unless you're selling luxury products to luxury clients. A $15,000 clean, reliable sedan is professional enough for 95% of business situations. Tax considerations: if you're self-employed or $1,099, you can deduct mileage, 65.5 cents per mile in 2023, or actual car expenses, gas, maintenance, depreciation. This effectively reduces the car's cost by 25 to 30%. Adjusted 10% rule for business use. If 70% plus of your driving is business, spend up to 15% of gross income, keep detailed mileage logs, deduct business use on taxes. Net cost after deductions should align with 10% rule. Case 2. The young person, still living at home. You're 22, living with parents, making $35,000 per year, no rent or major expenses. The temptation: I have no expenses, I can afford a $25,000 car payment. Why this is a trap. You won't live at home forever. When you move out, rent, $1,000 to $1,500 per month. Utilities, $150 per month. Food, $300 per month. Everything else, $300 per month. Total new expenses, $1,750 to $2,250 per month. Now that $450 car payment, that was easy when you had no expenses, becomes crushing when you're paying rent. The right approach: follow the 10% rule, $3,500 max car. Use your low expense period to build wealth. Save 50 to 70% of income. Build emergency fund, $10,000 to $15,000. Start retirement investing. Save for future rent deposits. When you move out, you'll have no car payment, $30,000 to $50,000 saved, strong financial foundation. Your friends who bought nice cars have $400 per month payments, $5,000 saved. Panic when they have to start paying rent. Case 3. The high-income professional. You're a doctor, lawyer, or tech worker making $250,000 plus per year. The 10% rule says max $25,000 car. Your reaction: that's ridiculous. I make $250,000 and I'm supposed to drive a $25,000 car? The counter argument: you're right that $25,000 isn't a hard ceiling at your income. But let's be smart about this. Option A. Follow 10% rule. Buy $25,000 car in cash. Invest the $500 per month you would have spent on a nicer car. Over 30-year career. $900,000 additional retirement savings. Option B. Violate the rule. Buy $80,000 car with payment. Enjoy luxury vehicle. Retire with $900,000 less. The question: is the luxury car worth $900,000? Maybe, if you Max out 401k, $22,500 per year. Max out IRA, $6,500 per year. Save 20% plus of gross income. Have no other debt, are on track for comfortable retirement. Then spending $80,000 on a car is a luxury you can afford. You're not sacrificing financial security for the car, but most high-income professionals have massive student debt, $200,000 to $400,000, aren't saving 20% because lifestyle inflation ate their income, bought expensive houses, are living paycheck to paycheck despite high income. If that's you, the 10% rule still applies. Fix your finances first, then splurge on cars. Case 4. The single parent. You're a single parent making $45,000 per year with 2 kids. The 10% rule says max $4,500 car. Your concern, I need a reliable car for my kids. Can't risk breakdowns with children. The safety concern is valid. The solution isn't buying new. Option A, buy 2 cheap cars. Primary car, $3,000 reliable sedan. Backup car, $1,500 second vehicle. Total, $4,500. If primary car breaks down, you have backup. Your kids aren't stranded. Option B, cheap car plus emergency plan. Car, $4,000. AAA membership, $100 per year. Backup plan, friend/family who can help in emergency fund, $500 for Uber/rental car if needed. The insurance savings, older, cheaper cars cost less to insure. $30,000 car, $1,800 per year insurance. $4,500 car, $800 per year insurance. Savings, $1,000 per year. Over 5 years, $5,000 saved. That $5,000 pays for any additional maintenance the older car needs and still leaves you ahead. Case 5. The car enthusiast. You genuinely love cars, not for status, but because you're passionate about automotive engineering, design, and driving experience. The conflict, the 10% rule says cheap, boring, reliable. Your passion says interesting, fun, engaging. The compromise, buy the cheapest version of what you love. Love sports cars? Don't buy a new $60,000 sports car. Buy a 15-year-old Mazda Miata for $8,000. Still fun, still engaging, much cheaper. Love trucks? Don't buy a $70,000 new F-150. Buy a 10-year-old used truck for $12,000. Still capable, still useful, fraction of cost. Love off-roading? Don't buy a $50,000 new 4Runner. Buy an older Jeep or 4x4 for $8,000. Still hits trails, still adventurous. The key insight: you can have automotive passion and financial discipline. You just need to be creative and patient. The long-term strategy, follow the 10% rule strictly from 25 to 40, build wealth. At 40, if you're financially secure, buy your dream car in cash. You've earned it. You can afford it without sacrificing retirement. Delaying gratification doesn't mean never getting what you want. It means getting what you want after you can actually afford it. Chapter 23. The Psychology of Dealership Resistance. Let's talk about walking into a dealership when you're following the 10% rule. The salespeople will hate you, and you need to be prepared. What the salesperson sees, you walk in and say, I can spend $5,000 max. They think, low commission, not worth my time. I can probably upsell them. Their tactics. Tactic 1, the lowball car show. They show you a $5,000 car that's a complete disaster. Scratched, dented, mechanical issues, smells weird. This is what $5,000 gets you, but for just $8,000, look at this beautiful car. Your response: I've researched $5,000 cars. They're available in good condition. If you don't have any, I'll shop elsewhere. Then leave. Private party sales are better anyway. Tactic 2, the payment focus. Forget the price. What monthly payment works for you? If you say $200 per month, they'll structure an 84-month loan at high interest to hit that payment while maximizing total cost. Your response: I'm paying cash. Total price is all that matters. What's your best price? Tactic 3, the financing pressure. You can get a better car if you finance. Let me show you what we can approve you for. They run your credit and come back. You're approved for $18,000. Your response: I appreciate that, but I'm buying with cash and my budget is firm at $5,000. Tactic 4, the social proof. Most people in your situation spend $12,000 to $15,000. $5,000 is unrealistic. Your response: I'm not most people. I'm being financially responsible. If that's not compatible with your inventory, I'll shop elsewhere. Tactic 5. The safety guilt. Don't you want your family to be safe? Newer cars have better safety features. Your response: a 2010 car has airbags, stability control, and modern safety features. It's safe enough. I'm not buying new for marginal safety improvements. The power move. The best defense against dealership tactics. Don't go to dealerships. Buy private party. The seller has no training in manipulation. They're just trying to sell their car. If you must use a dealer for new cars, use online services like Costco Auto, TrueCar, or email negotiation. Never visit in person. For used cars, get the price in writing via email before visiting. Walk out if they change terms in person. The entertainment value. Once you know the tactics, dealerships become hilarious rather than stressful. You watch them try every trick. You deflect each one. They get increasingly frustrated. Eventually they either give you a fair price, rare, give up, common. Either way, you win by not getting manipulated. Chapter 24. The climate and weather factor. Where you live affects what kind of car you need and how much it costs to maintain. Cold weather states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, etc. Special considerations. Salt on roads causes rust, cars die faster. Need reliable heat, breaking down in -20 degrees Fahrenheit is dangerous. AWD/4WD is genuinely useful for snow battery dies faster in extreme cold. Cost implications. Rust means shorter vehicle life, 8 to 10 years versus 15 to 20 in warm climates. AWD vehicles cost more to buy and maintain. Winter tires needed, $600 to $800. More frequent repairs, rust-related issues. Strategy adjustment. Expect to replace vehicles more often. Build this into budget. 10% rule, but save extra for more frequent replacement. Save $150 per month instead of $100 per month. Build fund for next car faster. Expect 8 to 10 year vehicle life instead of 15, plus rust prevention. Undercoating, controversial but some swear by it. $150 per year. Regular car washes in winter to remove salt. $20 per month parking in garage if possible. Huge difference. Hot weather states, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas. Special considerations. Extreme heat kills batteries faster, 2 to 3 year life versus 5 to 7 in moderate climates. AC is non-negotiable, life-threatening without it. Rubber components degrade. Faster. Hoses, belts. Interior materials crack and fade. Cost implications. More frequent battery replacement. $100 to $150 every 2 to 3 years. AC repairs are expensive, $500 to $1,500. More frequent belt/hose replacement, $200 to $400. Strategy adjustment. When buying used in hot climates, inspect AC carefully, expensive to fix. Check all rubber components for cracking, expect to replace batteries soon. Interior condition matters, cracked dash can't be fixed cheaply. Benefits. No rust. Cars last longer. Easier to maintain. Can work outside year-round. Huge used car markets. Cheap inventory. Humid coastal states. Florida, Louisiana, coastal areas. Special considerations. Salt air causes corrosion. High humidity causes mold. Electrical issues. Flood risk. Avoid flood-damaged cars. Cost implications. Rust like cold states but from salt air instead of road salt. Mold remediation, $200 to $500. Electrical gremlins from humidity strategy adjustment. Check Carfax. For flood damage, automatic disqualification. Inspect for musty smell, mold, rust in unusual places, salt air corrosion, electrical issues, window switches, radio sensors, mountain states, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming. Special considerations, altitude affects engine performance. Steep grades strain brakes and transmission. Snow requires AWD/4WD in many areas. Lower oxygen means harder starting. Cost implications. Brake replacement more frequent, $400 per year versus $400 per 2 years. Transmission work more common from mountain driving. Strategy, buy cars designed for altitude. Some engines struggle above 8,000 feet. The regional price variations. Same car costs, different amounts in different regions. 2010 Honda Civic, California, $6,500, high demand, expensive state. Texas, $5,000, abundant inventory, cheaper market. New York, $5,800, rust reduces value. Florida, $5,200, huge retiree market, lots of inventory. The arbitrage opportunity. If you live in expensive car markets, consider buying in cheaper states and driving at home. Example, live in California, find car in Texas for $5,000, fly to Texas, $200, drive car home, 2 days, $200 in gas and hotel. Total cost, $5,400. Same car in California, $6,500. Savings, $1,100. Worth it for higher value purchases. Chapter 25. The Long-Term Wealth Building Integration. The 10% rule doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a complete financial strategy. Let's see how it fits. The complete wealth building framework. Income allocation. Recommended percentages of gross income. Retirement, 15 to 20%. Emergency fund, 5% until 6 months expenses saved. Housing, 25 to 30%. Transportation, 10 to 15%. Car purchase follows 10% rule. Total transportation costs stay under 15%. Food, 10 to 15%. Insurance, 5 to 10%. Everything else, 20 to 30%. The synergy effect, following the 10% car rule, enables following the other rules. Example, at $50,000 per year income, $4,167 per month gross, with expensive car, $30,000 financed, car payment, $500 per month, 12%, insurance, $150 per month, 3.6%, gas, $150 per month, 3.6%, maintenance, $100 per month, 2.4%, total transportation, $900 per month, 21.6%. This blows the 15% recommendation. The extra 6.6% has to come from somewhere. Cut retirement savings, future you suffers. Cut housing budget, live in worse place. Cut food, health suffers. Go into debt, spiral begins. With cheap car, $5,000 cash. Car payment, $0. Insurance, $70 per month, 1.7%. Gas, $150 per month, 3.6%. Maintenance, $100 per month, 2.4%. Total transportation, $320 per month, 7.7%. This is under the 15% guideline. You have 7.3% of income freed up for higher retirement savings, faster debt payoff, bigger emergency fund, more discretionary spending investments beyond retirement. The compound effect over a career. Person A, cheap cars plus good financial habits, age 25, buys $5,000 car, invests $400 per month, age 30, $35,000 invested, still driving cheap cars. Age 35, $90,000 invested, wealth building. Age 40, $175,000 invested, compound growth accelerating. Age 50, $450,000 invested, considering early retirement. Age 60, $1,100,000 invested, financially independent. Age 65, $1,800,000 invested, comfortable retirement guaranteed. Person B, expensive cars plus typical habits. Age 25, buys $25,000 car, $450 per month payment, invests nothing. Age 30, $8,000 invested, started late, still making car payments. Age 35, $35,000 invested, finally started, bought another expensive car. Age 40, $75,000 invested, still making car payments. Age 50, $180,000 invested, realizes they're behind. Age 60, $390,000 invested, can't afford to retire yet. Age 65, $550,000 invested, worried about retirement. Difference, $1,250,000. Person A retires with $1.25 million more than person B. That's not just from cars, it's from the complete financial discipline that following the 10% rule represents. The wealth building mindset, people who follow the 10% rule tend to live below their means in other areas too. Invest consistently, avoid lifestyle inflation, make financial decisions based on math, not emotion. Think long-term. People who violate the 10% rule tend to overspend in other areas too. Invest sporadically or not at all. Constantly inflate lifestyle as income grows. Make financial decisions based on emotion and social pressure. Think short-term. The car is a proxy for overall financial philosophy. The integration with other goals. Goal, buy a house. With expensive car payment, $500 per month. Can't save for down payment. I too high to qualify for mortgage. Dream of home ownership delayed for years. With cheap car, no car payment. Save $600 per month for down payment. In 3 years, $21,600 saved. Enough for down payment. DTI is good, no car debt. Buy house years earlier. Goal, start a business. With expensive car payment, $500 per month. Can't afford to take business risks. Need stable job. To make payments, entrepreneurship impossible. With cheap car, no car payment can afford to take business risks. $400 per month saved equals business startup capital. Entrepreneurship becomes possible. Goal, travel with expensive car payment, $500 per month. Can't afford travel. Car sits in driveway depreciating while you work to pay for it. With cheap car, no car payment. Save $500 per month. Annual vacation, $6,000 budget. See the world while car sits in driveway, at least you're enjoying life. The 10% rule doesn't just save money, it unlocks other life goals. Final thoughts. The meta lesson. This video has been about cars, but it's really about something bigger. The gap between what society tells you that you can afford and what you actually can afford. Society says, if the bank approves you, you can afford it. If you can make the payment, you can afford it. If your friends have it, you can afford it. If you want it, you deserve it, so you can afford it. Math says, you can afford it if you can pay cash, you can afford it if it doesn't prevent saving 15 to 20% for retirement, you can afford it if it doesn't create financial stress, you can afford it if it doesn't crowd out other goals. These are completely different standards. The car industry, banks, and consumer culture have spent decades convincing you that you can afford more than you actually can. They've succeeded. Most Americans are car broke. They have nice vehicles and empty retirement accounts. The 10% rule is radical because it prioritizes your future over your present appearance. It says, drive a boring car now so you can retire comfortably later. Most people choose the opposite. Drive a nice car now and figure out retirement later. Spoiler, they never figure it out. The ultimate question, what do you value more? A nice car for 5 to 10 years. Financial freedom for 20 to 40 years. You can't have both. Choose deliberately. If you choose the car, at least be honest about it. Don't pretend you're making a smart financial decision. You're choosing pleasure over security. That's your right, but own it. If you choose freedom, follow the 10% rule. Buy the boring car. Invest the difference. Be patient. In 20 years, you'll be financially free while your friends who drove nice cars are still working because they have to. The final math, $400 per month invested from age 25 to 65 at 8% return equals $1,400,000. That's the price of driving nice cars. $1.4 million in retirement savings. Is the nice car worth it? For most people, the honest answer is no. But they'll buy it anyway because they can't delay gratification, they care too much about appearances, or they simply don't run the math. Don't be most people. Buy the cheap car. Invest the difference. Retire rich. Your future self is begging you to make this choice. Epilogue. The real stories that prove the point. Chapter 26. The people who got it right and wrong. Let's end with real examples of people who followed or ignored the 10% rule and where they ended up. These are composite stories based on common patterns, but the numbers are real. Story 1. The tale of two engineers meet Jake and Marcus. Both graduated with engineering degrees in 2010. Both got jobs at the same company making $65,000 per year. Both are now in their mid-30s. Jake's car journey, age 23, 2010. Bought a used 2005 Honda Accord for $7,000 cash, 10.7% of income, close enough to 10% rule. Drove it for 8 years. No car payment for 8 years. Invested $400 per month instead, age 31, 2018. Accord had 180,000 miles, needed $2,000 in repairs. sold it for $1,500, bought a 2012 Toyota Camry for $9,000 cash, income now $85,000, so this was 10.5% of income, continues driving it today. No car payment for 14 years total, continued investing $400 to $500 per month throughout Jake at age 36, 2024. Net worth, $320,000 retirement accounts, $240,000 brokerage, $45,000 emergency fund, $35,000. Currently drives 2012 Camry worth $6,000 monthly car costs, $250, insurance, gas, maintenance. Financial stress level, 0 plans. Will retire at 50 to 52 Marcus's car journey, age 23, 2010. Bought a new 2010 Honda Accord for $24,000. Financed $420 per month payment for 6 years. I need a reliable car for work. Age 29, 2016. Traded in Accord, still owed $3,000, worth $8,000. Bought new 2016 Subaru Outback for $32,000. Rolled $3,000 negative equity into new loan $550 per month payment for 7 years. I need AWD and space for future family. Age 35, 2023. Traded in Subaru, owed $7,000, worth $18,000. Bought new 2023 Toyota Highlander for $45,000. Finally had positive equity. Used $11,000 as down payment, $625 per month payment for 7 years. I have kids now, need a safe family car. Marcus at age 36, 2024. Net worth, $85,000. Retirement accounts, $65,000. Emergency fund, $8,000. Car equity, $12,000. Currently drives 2023 Highlander worth $42,000, owes $30,000. Monthly car costs, $875. Payment, insurance, gas, maintenance. Financial stress level, high, worried about retirement. Plans, hopes to retire at 67, unsure if he'll have enough. The comparison, Jake invested $400 per month for 14 years while Marcus made car payments. Total difference in car spending. Jake, $16,000 total spent on 2 cars over 14 years. Marcus, $70,000 plus total spent in payments, interest, and negative equity retirement gap. Jake, $320,000 net worth, on track for early retirement. Marcus, $85,000 net worth, behind schedule for normal retirement. Difference, $235,000 by age 36. Same job, same income, different car decisions, a $250,000 wealth gap. By retirement at 65, Jake will have $2+ million. Marcus will have $600,000 to $800,000 if he gets serious about saving now. The kicker, Marcus has made peace with, I'll just work longer. Jake has options. Story 2. The single mom who beat the odds, meet Jennifer. Single mom, 2 kids, $42,000 per year income as a dental hygienist. The conventional wisdom said, she needs a reliable car. True. Single moms can't afford to have cars break down. True. Therefore, she should buy a new or certified pre-owned car. False. What Jennifer actually did, followed the 10% rule strictly, $4,200 max budget. Age 28, bought a 2006 Toyota Sienna minivan for $4,000 cash, 140,000 miles, ran perfect for 2 kids, saved $350 per month, no payment in car fund. Age 31, Sienna needed transmission repair, $2,500, used car fund to pay for it. Kept driving Sienna. Age 33, Sienna had 210,000 miles but still running, sold for $1,800. Car fund had $8,000 saved. Bought 2010 Honda Odyssey for $7,000, kept $2,800 in car fund. Age 36, now. Still driving the Odyssey, 170,000 miles. Car fund has $12,000, also has $45,000 in retirement savings. Emergency fund, $8,000. No financial stress despite single income. What Jennifer's friends did, most bought. $18,000 to $25,000 certified pre-owned minivans with $350 to $450 per month payments. They argued Jennifer is being irresponsible with her kids' safety buying old cars. The reality check. Jennifer's $4,000 Sienna had airbags, front side curtain, anti-lock brakes, stability control, 5-star crash test rating when her friend's newer vans had, slightly better airbags, backup cameras, blind spot monitoring. Basically the same crash test ratings. The safety difference was marginal. The financial difference was massive. Jennifer's kids are in a safe vehicle, with a mom who has no financial stress, with money saved for their college, with a role model of financial discipline. Her friends' kids are in slightly newer vehicles, with stressed parents making car payments with no college savings, learning that car payments are normal, who's actually being more responsible as a parent. Story 3, the guy who learned too late. Meet David, now 58 years old, reflecting on his car decisions. Age 25 to 35. The success years. Bought new cars every 4 to 5 years. Always had a payment, $350 to $500 per month. I work hard, I deserve a nice car. Drove BMWs, Audis, nice sedans age 35 to 45. The family years upgraded to SUVs for the kids. Payments grew, $550 to $700 per month. I need to provide for my family. Drove Lexus RX, Acura MDX, Mercedes ML age 45 to 55. The midlife crisis years. Kids grown, bought fun cars, highest payments ever, $700 to $900 per month. I'm finally doing something for myself. Drove Porsche Cayenne, BMW X5, age 58. The reckoning, David's current situation. Retirement savings, $380,000. Should have $1 million plus to retire comfortably. Currently drives 2021 BMW X3, owes $28,000. Plans to retire, age 70, maybe. His calculation, over 33 years of working, he always had a car payment averaging $550 per month. Total spent on car payments, $218,000. If he'd followed the 10% rule and invested that $550 per month instead, he'd have $1,400,000 more in retirement savings. The difference between retiring comfortably at 62, working until 70, and still being tight on money, all from car choices. David's quote, "If I could go back and tell my 25-year-old self one thing, it would be, buy the boring car. Nobody remembers what you drive, but you'll remember not being able to retire. I thought I was being successful. I was actually being stupid." Story 4. The couple who retired at 48. Meet Amy and Chen. They retired at 48 and 49 years old. Not because they were rich, because they were smart. Combined income history. Age 25 to 30, $85,000 combined. Age 30 to 35, $115,000 combined. Age 35 to 40, $140,000 combined. Age 40 to 48, $165,000 combined. Upper middle class, but not wealthy. Their car strategy, age 25 to 48, entire working career. Always owned 2 cars, needed for 2 commutes. Never spent more than $5,000 per car. Typical cars, 2004 Camry, 2007 Civic, 2009 Corolla, 2011 Mazda, 3 combined car. Value never exceeded $10,000, never had a car payment, while their friends drove $30,000 to $50,000 cars each, had $800 to $1,200 per month in combined car payments. Constantly traded up. Amy and Chen invested $1,000 per month, their car payment savings plus some extra, maxed retirement accounts, lived in modest house, spent money on experiences, not things. At age 48, net worth $1,850,000, retirement accounts $1,200,000, brokerage $450,000, home equity $200,000, annual expenses $55,000, safe withdrawal rate 4%, $74,000 per year. They could retire and maintain their lifestyle indefinitely. Currently, age 54, still driving a 2015 Toyota they bought used for $8,000. Net worth has grown to $2,400,000. Market gains while not working, traveling 6 months per year, volunteering, spending time with family, no regrets about the boring cars. Their advice, Everyone thought we were cheap or struggling because we drove old cars. We weren't cheap, we were strategic. Those fancy cars our friends drove, they're all worthless now. Our worthless investments are worth $2.4 million and bought us 15 plus years of freedom. We won. The pattern across all stories, the people who followed the 10% rule, have more wealth, have less stress, have more options, retired early or on track to the people who violated it, have less wealth, have more stress, feel trapped by their finances, will work longer than they want to. The cars everyone drove are gone, sold for pennies, scrapped, forgotten. The money is still there, either in retirement accounts, if you followed the rule, or gone forever, if you didn't. The difference isn't knowledge. Everyone in these stories had access to the same information. The difference is choice. Some chose delayed gratification and built wealth. Others chose immediate gratification and built debt. The question, one final time, which story will be yours? The person at 36 with $320,000 net worth driving a 12-year-old car? Or the person at 36 with $85,000 net worth driving a new car with payments? The single mom with $45,000 saved and no stress? Or the single mom with car payments and constant anxiety? The couple retired at 48 traveling the world? Or the person at 58 realizing they can't retire for another 12 years? You're writing your story right now. Every car decision is a sentence in that story. Make it a good story, one where you win. Conclusion: the choice is yours. We've covered a lot. Let's bring it all together. The core truth: you can afford way less car than you think you can afford. The bank will approve you for too much. The dealer will sell you too much. Your friends are driving too much. Society tells you that you deserve too much. All of them are wrong, or more precisely, all of them have incentives that aren't aligned with your financial well-being. The 10% rule is simple. Spend no more than 10% of your gross annual income on the purchase. Price of a car: make $40,000, max $4,000 car; make $60,000, max $6,000 car; make $80,000, max $8,000 car; make $100,000, max $10,000 car. Why this matters: following this rule versus buying the car you can afford based on payment saves you $6,000 to $10,000 per year. Over a career, saves $500,000 to $1,500,000, makes the difference between comfortable retirement and working until you die, reduces stress, increases options, gives you freedom. The obstacles: this isn't easy. You'll face social pressure from people with nice cars, advertisements telling you that you deserve better, dealers manipulating you into larger purchases, your own desires for comfort and status, fear that cheap cars are unreliable, judgment from people who don't understand your strategy. All of these are overcome by understanding the math, running the numbers yourself, seeing that following the rule literally makes you a millionaire while violating it keeps you broke. The execution: calculate your exact budget, 10% of gross income, research reliable used cars in that budget, shop private party sales, get pre-purchase inspections, always, buy with cash, no financing, maintain it religiously, drive it until it dies, invest the money you save. Repeat for 20 to 30 years. Retire wealthy while everyone else is still making car payments. The alternative perspective: some of you are thinking, life is short, I want to enjoy a nice car now, not when I'm 65. Fair enough, but understand what you're trading. You're trading 5 to 10 years of driving a nicer car for 20 to 30 years of financial stress and possibly never being able to retire. If that trade makes sense to you, go ahead. But make it consciously, not because you didn't understand the math. The exceptions: yes, there are situations where spending more makes sense. Very high income, where 10% is artificially limiting business use where the car generates income. Unique safety needs not met by cheaper vehicles already financially secure with all other goals met. But be honest, are you actually an exception, or are you rationalizing? The bigger picture: this isn't really about cars. It's about delayed gratification, making decisions based on math, not emotion, resisting social pressure, building actual wealth instead of appearing wealthy, playing long-term games in a short-term world. Cars are just one example. The same principles apply to houses, clothes, vacations, and everything else you spend money on. The final word: most people will never follow the 10% rule. They'll buy cars they can't afford, make payments forever, and wonder why they're stressed about money. That's their choice. But you? You have the information now. You understand the math. You know what's possible if you have the discipline to follow through. The question is, will you? Will you drive the boring car while your friends drive fancy ones? Will you invest the savings while they're making payments? Will you build wealth while they're building debt? Or will you do what everyone else does, buy the car you can afford, and end up in the same financial situation as everyone else, broke, stressed, and hoping Social Security is enough to survive on? The choice is yours. Choose the boring car. Choose wealth. Choose freedom. Your 65-year-old self will thank you.